East Carolina Hall of Famer and Utah Jazz first-round draft pick Blue Edwards. We're talking Pirate basketball on the Sports Objective, your home for the best ECU basketball coverage.
Welcome into our North Carolina Division I basketball preview. And Bubba, we got a very special guest.
Yeah, the Pirates are off to a 2-0 start, and on Sunday afternoon, a very strong test as the Western Carolina Catamounts are coming to Minges Coliseum, and right now very excited to be joined by their first-year head coach, Justin Gray. Coach, how are you?
I'm doing well, Bubba, man. I appreciate you guys having me. Dave, we had a little bit of conversation before, and we're just excited to be here and have an opportunity to compete.
No doubt. You guys, tell you what, we were talking in the pre-show, one of the hardest things I had to do is to go to my alma mater. I needed games, so I called my alma mater at the time, Williamston High School. I was coaching at the Eastern North Carolina School for the Deaf in Wilson. They granted me the wish, which is great to get a chance for games, right? And then when I walked in the gym, and I'm like, wow, this is my gym, this is my school, and wait a minute, I'm having to coach against my school. It was the weirdest feeling. And when I knew you were coming on, that memory came to mind. So from one coach to another, I just want to get your take on how was it last night when you go back to Lawrence Joel, you go back to Winston-Salem, Wake Forest is your school, and you have a tremendous opportunity at Western Carolina. Did that affect you at all?
No, I think at the end of the day, it's about us. Winston-Salem, Wake Forest has been a special place to me. And obviously walking in there are some nostalgic feelings that go through, and you start to remember some moments and seeing a lot of familiar faces. But the biggest thing for our guys, I told them, is opportunity. They don't get a lot of opportunities, one, to just play college basketball games. And if we all learned anything by a pandemic, you don't take these opportunities lightly. So when you get a chance to go out and play, you want to go out and play hard and compete and leave everything you have out there.
Coach, before we talk more about that Wake Forest game, your ball club, got things underway on Tuesday night with a big overtime win over MACFO Bowling Green. So talk about that.
I mean, I thought, our guys, it's the first game of the year, and first time we had fans in the building in a long, long time. And, there was a lot of excitement about that game, around that game, and our guys came out and they played hard. And even without two of our guys, two guys that didn't play in that game, our guys competed, and there's a couple of things that we always talk about in our program daily. That's being relentless. That's having a strong competitive excellence. And then that's the power of the unit. Those three things, if you watch us play in 10 minutes, you come into practice, you should be able to walk out of the gym and you see those three things. If you don't, then I'm not doing my job. So that game against Bowling Green, it was just a lot of excitement, and our guys played hard. And Mike up there has those guys. They didn't start off as good, but we knew there was a good team. They fought back in it, and they made some plays late. And our guys, when we had to, got stops late, made plays late, and we were fortunate enough to win that game. But no matter if we won or lost, I would have been proud of my guys just because the way that they competed. And how hard they really, really played.
No question, Coach. That's one of the things that we knew that would be the case when you took over the job. A program, Western Carolina, is still doing well. And you guys, one of the things, we'll get back to basketball in a second. I was telling you that I'm really, really excited and happy for you, your first opportunity to be at a school where things are really, really growing, a very underrated school in Western Carolina, being Western Carolina University and Cullowhee. And you guys, I know with a lot of construction, you've got a lot of students. The enrollment is way up. Very excited for you on that.
Yeah, I mean, over 12,000 students there, and it's a college town, and the people there are special. For us as a program, we have a lot of things going. New locker room being built, new players lounge, new video room, like all of those things are bells and whistles that, in college basketball in today's age, you need it. You need those things. And like you said, there's new dorms going up. There's everything that's what you could want to see as a head coach. There's construction and hard hats going on. I love it because I can sell that. So for me, it's an exciting time to be a Catamount. We have a brand new football coach, brand new basketball coach, myself, and then our AD is fairly new as well, Alex Gary. So a lot of stuff moving, a lot of stuff going in the right direction, and I'm just excited to be a part of it.
And another thing, we're very excited. Also, you have a great baseball coach there, Bobby Miranda, that we think a lot of, that comes on our show every year. And I tell you what, you support big time.
He's a deep too. He's a deep too, deep down, and we have those conversations about it. And he'll tell me about stories about watching Tim Duncan and Randolph Childress play during his time when he was at Wake as an assistant. So, like I said, it's a special place, and it isn't only colorway in the campus and the buildings, it's the people, and the opportunity to build some real relationships that's who I am at the core.
Coach, talk about, before we dive into this ball club specifically, your predecessor, Mark Prosser, obviously he had a Wake Forest connection with his father, Skip. He did a tremendous job there in Cullowhee. He's now at Winthrop, and you had been at Winthrop. And Pat Kelsey moved on to College of Charleston. I guess you did too for a brief time before you got this job. But just talk about those influences of the coaches you've worked with, and some of the staples. You've kind of already referenced that a little bit as far as the style of play of a Justin Gray coach team.
Yeah, I think you never want to not go without saying anything about the people before you. I think Mark was doing an excellent job, and I was at Winthrop, so I know the tradition that was built there. So, it's kind of hard to say no to Winthrop. When the championships, I was a part of 2 of them there with Pat Kelsey, like you mentioned, who I did follow. It was a 2-week span where I was the assistant coach at Winthrop, to the interim head coach at Winthrop, to no job, to College of Charleston, to as an assistant, and then head coach at Western. So my wife was a little upset with me at the time. We were trying to figure out and moving around, but I think part of the ability for me to do that is my family. I mean, I played 12 years in Europe as well, so we was always sort of on the move a little bit. But basketball for me goes all the way back to Skip Prosser and the opportunity that he gave, not only me, but all those other 2 coaches. And, I'll be remiss without saying, a lot of my style comes from Skip, how he handles the players. I would say the energy is who I am in general. I can only be myself. Coach Kelsey, with the marketing things that I picked up from him, he's a genius, and I was blessed enough to be under him for 2 years, and he helped prep me, to be a head coach, and whenever you get the opportunity to learn from someone like Pat Kelsey, who's going to be excellent and has already, sort of proven himself. And I tell you, Charleston is a destination job. Don't get me wrong, but there will be Power 5 schools knocking on this door, and I got a master class in how to be a head coach, and the marketing mind and brilliancy that he has. So, I think it's a mixture of all those guys. And then, for me, it's playing. The best experience I have is my playing experience, and figuring out what worked for me. What did I like to play against? What did I not like to play against? Who did I, who gave me troubles? All those things go into it. And then being able to relate to the players and relate those things and getting them to play hard. A lot of the game and coaching, I'm learning we'll make it way more complicated than we have to. At the end of the day, you can't have too many cool guys. You know what I mean? It comes down, ain't no room for being cool, and everybody on our team, I can guarantee you, they will not be cool. They'll play freaking hard, because if not, they won't play. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
So it's just simple. So we just try to make sure, in my program, that's the standard, and the standard is going 110%, competing, being relentless, and supporting your brother when it's not your turn to be in the game.
Coach, I can tell by just talking to you, you're a great recruiter. Bubba and I both have boys that are about a decade from obviously being in the college ranks.
Here we go.
Yeah. So how do you can you give us a little bit of I know you want to give away all your tricks, but can you tell us how do you recruit to Western Carolina? We love Cullowhee, Bubba and I do, but how do you tell a guy that maybe not from anywhere in North Carolina? How do you get them to Cullowhee?
Well, I think one is relationship based. You be who you are. I think that's a little bit of the problem of college sports now is, we recruit kids and it's recruitment and it's not being so honest with them. I'm gonna be honest with you, from the beginning. So there is no secret, and then I think once they get on the campus, once they come to Cullowhee, I'm telling you, when you walk on Western Carolina's campus, I said, wow, the first time. I didn't know what to expect. And when I got there, I'm like, man, this is a freaking gold mine. You know what I mean? Like, if we do it the right way, we could, we have everything that we need, so just getting people on campus. And then, obviously, they want to know about the style of play. They want to know who you are. They want to know experience. They want to know all these things. And what I tell them is, my track record is my track record. I've always been a winner, and I don't plan on losing. I don't know how long it'll take me to get there, but guess what? We will get there, and it'll be a relentless effort to try to make sure that we get there as fast as possible.
Yeah, Coach, talk about the Ramsey Center. A lot of people probably don't realize what a nice arena Western Carolina has, and it's been around since the mid '80s. It was kind of well ahead of its time because I remember some folks, talking about way back then what a nice arena it was, and a lot of folks are like, oh, yeah, sure, yeah, and yeah, it's not nearly as big as some, but it's very, very nice.
Yeah, I think it's perfect for college basketball, and more importantly, it's on the campus. When you have a camp, an arena on campus, we have a practice facility as well. Our offices are in there. We're redoing, like I said, our locker rooms. They're renovating outside of the Ramsey now, brand new parking garage to make it more comfortable, and like brand new scoreboards. They're putting money into it, and it's bells and whistles, yes, but it has to be that. It's necessity. It's a necessity to make sure. And the best part about it is it's not too big, right around little over 7,000. And our fans, our students, last game, I'm telling you, were amazing. Maybe it was because it was the first game, or I don't know what it was. And I went on campus a little bit and went in the caf and interrupted everybody's lunch and stood on the table and get loud and go to Starbucks. I'm doing my job. I'm doing my job to make sure that they're coming in there. But it can be a hectic place to play, and it was. And Bowling Green, I think, felt that, and our players felt that, and that's something that we were really, really excited about.
Coach, another thing is, I know we talked in the green room, so to speak, pre-show about the very fact that our show grew because of the pandemic, not the greatest way because of all the lives lost and a lot of people sick over the last couple of years. But I know with you've done an amazing job of selling your program like a lot of coaches in the last couple of years, and they can't even come on the campus, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's the nature of technology now. We have Zoom, so we obviously have slideshows, but we have presentations that we do, and we get them on campus and we show them around. And I'm telling you haven't seen a sunset until you look out the Ramsey over the football field, and the sun sets in the mountains, and it's beautiful. And all those things are some stuff that we sell. And don't get me wrong. Now, technology is great until it isn't. I've been on some Zooms, and the internet goes out, and I'm going crazy. I'm like, somebody's about to get fired, and it's nobody's fault. You know what I mean? It's just how it is in technology. But that's how we did it. We had to sign 10 players. And 10 players without them putting boots on the ground. So that was hard. That I joke around sometimes and say had a bunch of shotgun weddings. Got my daughter pregnant. Now you got to marry her. I hope it works out. So sometimes it doesn't, and it is the portal. But our guys, they know truly what we want from them. They know truly that I care about them, and they know truly I'm gonna push them as hard as I can every single day to be better.
Coach, one of the things that jumped off the page when I was looking at the box scores from the first two games against Bowling Green and Wake Forest is your ball club knocked down 12 threes in each of those games, and you had 6 players make threes in each of those games. And so it's not like you had one guy that made 8. So just talk about the guard play of this team.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, we're a team that it's going to be a different guy on every single night, and I think, that's only really losing one player. Nicholas Robinson will be the one player that we lose after this year. Bodes well for us, so because we're getting experience, we're getting game reps. As far as the shooting the threes, as crazy as it sounds, we don't even really talk about shooting threes or hunting the three. I know everybody says, well, you made all these threes at Wake and that's what you did. No, we just talk about the space, the pace, sharing the ball, shot selection. Like, we call them our 4 S's. We talk about those all the time. So whatever the game, tells you, I want you to be aggressive. If that means we have a game we taking 35 threes, guess what? That means we take 35 threes. I'm fine with it. If that's a game where the 3 ball wasn't there, we were able to get layups or we're getting fouled, I'll take those. The things that, I wanted to make sure that we're doing is we're learning, and every single day we got to be able to make sure that we're getting a little bit better. A couple things off the stat sheet, you got me thinking about it, that bothered me were the turnovers. And I know when you play fast, you're going to have those turnovers, and I'm going to live with some of them, but some of them are things that we're trying to make sure that we discipline on and we can't have, so just trying to make sure that every single day, they know what we expect from them, and they try to just go out and do it.
And Coach, I know we're going to talk about your roster, but the one thing that comes to mind with your school, you play in a tremendous basketball conference. Those of us that are like Bubba and I, they're basketball nuts. The SoCon, I mean, the Southern Conference, are you kidding me? Great basketball league. I know that as a coach, your first time as a head coach, I know you got to be pumped up as a competitor that you are, knowing you from your Wake Forest days. I know you got to be pumped to be coaching in such a great league.
Yeah, man, it's I would say it's a little surreal, for me to be, in a position, because I never take anything for granted. We have so many college, coaches out there that are really, really good and never get this opportunity. They long-time assistants that work the tail off that never get this opportunity. And then for me to get my first opportunity in this league, I'm like, what? So I love it as a competitor, but, the sense of being blessed, I know that I am. And I try not to take those things for granted. And then talking about the league, I mean, unbelievable coaches. I mean, you see some of the wins that the conference is getting already. Louisville, are you kidding me? At Pitt, are you kidding me? You know what I mean? Like, these coaches are really, really elite, and they get their guys to truly buy in and do what they ask of them, and that's what I'm trying to do as a young head coach, and if I could be, even half of that, in my first year and learn a lot and try to figure it out and get our guys going in that direction, then the culture piece is huge. If I can get that going, then it's a win for me, and hopefully we punt a couple in and we win, but at the end of the day, it's about my guys. As long as their mindset, they feel good about it and they understand where we're going and they understand the message, we'll be just fine. I can promise you that.
Last night, Coach, against Wake Forest, Travion McCray, after not having played against Bowling Green, 21 points, 6 out of 11, 4 out of 7 from 3, 5 out of 6 from the line. Also pulled down 6 rebounds in 29 minutes. Talk about his play.
Yeah, I mean, Trey's a competitor, and I think, it's just a result of him, really, really, truly buying in to what we're doing. He's one of the guys that was, on the Coach Prosser team before, so he wanted to stay and he loved what we were saying. And, we're just trying to make sure that, again, no one's bigger than the culture, and that message has to be, nobody, not even me. I'm not bigger than the program. I'm gonna be honest. If something happens and I act a fool, I ain't gonna be in there. Like, that's what we have to understand. So our guys know that. We're on them. And then Trey, he competes every single day. Even though he didn't play in that game, he was on scout team for Bowling Green. Guess what? You know why we won the game? Because he was hooping in practice. I was like, this dude, man, I'm thinking about playing him. But guess what? Nobody's bigger than the culture. So we have a standard. Our guys understand that. And Trey was just, he was just one of those guys. I'm telling you, we have 7 guys, I think, on any night might get 20, and that's a good feeling to have. Our thing is, are we going to be able to stop some people, and when we don't turn the ball over for us, in the first couple games, and we had an exhibition and a closed scrimmage in those, when we didn't turn the ball over, we did pretty good defense in the half court.
A question, Coach. When you're looking at this, the matchup with East Carolina tomorrow afternoon, being Sunday afternoon at 4:00, I know that you got to like your chances. A great thing about this matchup in basketball is in-state rival, if you will, eastern part of the state versus the western part of the state. What have you seen so far? I know that you probably watched film 24 hours a day, and knowing the competitor I know you're a competitor. I don't know if you watch it 24 hours a day, but it's pretty close, right?
Yeah, I mean, I'm telling you, one thing I'm learning as a head coach is you sleep fast. Whenever you can, it's like when you have a newborn baby and the baby takes a nap, you better take a freaking nap or you ain't getting one. You know what I mean? So like, it's the same thing. We just try to. I've always been this way as a player. I'm a basketball junkie. So, my mind races and I'll be on, some synergy and I'm watching. And next thing you know, it's like Instagram for me. You get on Instagram and you scrolling. Next thing you know, you 60 people in. Like, how did I even get here? And I'm that way with basketball. It'll be that way with I'm watching film and then I see something. I'm like, man, let me go and see what they did on this. And I'm searching. And the next thing you know, it's been 2 hours. And I'm like, what am I doing right now? So last night was one of those nights for me, just trying to figure out what ECU really, really likes to do. What worked against them in the past. How they guard on different things. It's the job. And that's where the coaching for me, the competitive side for me, really kicks in because I enjoy that. I enjoy game planning. I enjoy trying to figure it out with my staff. And I do know one thing, that the size that they have, the athleticism that they have. I mean, it's tough. And they're in a really, really good league. And they play against really, really good talent. For us, we just want to make sure we're playing hard. We being relentless, we compete, and then we together. If those 3 things happen, I don't care what play we run it or what play they run it. If we do those 3 things, we feel like we'll have a chance. We just have to make sure that we doing those things.
I know one of the things that Coach Dooley mentioned when he's talking about your ball club is, some of the transfers you have. So if you would, and he really talked about Joe, is it Petrakis?
Yep, Petrakis.
Transferring in from K-State.
Yeah. I mean, I think he brings it's always hard for bigs that stretch the floor, because bigs are normally running to the paint, and we have a guy that can stretch the floor. He's been good. I think Joe is, just a really good leader, and that's what's important. The culture piece. It's not so much what he brings, on the court, and everybody will always analyze that, but I analyze how he leads our guys. Coming from a Power 5 school, coming from Kansas State and being here, and he knows about bells and whistles and all those things. He didn't come to Western for that. He came to Western for an opportunity, and the opportunity that we had to sell was, guess what? You can get in the game here. You can actually have an impact on whether we win or losing, and that's what we sell, So a lot of our guys are that way, and they, we call it sometimes almost last chance you. I don't know if you've seen that on Netflix. Guys getting tossed around, and they've been telling they're not good enough for this, and can't do this. He can only do that. And, we say we value those things. We okay, come on, only do that then, and then we'll work on you and develop you and make sure you always getting a little bit better. So, a bunch of our guys are that way. Nicholas Robinson is one that's really, really, I've been really, really impressed with. Again, was at St. Joe's, was at Valpo. Been through some wars and played some games, just consistent daily. You know what I mean? Like with his work ethic and with his leadership and, being able to get our message across to our younger guys. I mean, he's the only one that's leaving. The rest of those guys, They'll be around for 3 years, hopefully. You know what I mean? The good things about transfers, sometimes it's hard for them to go somewhere else, you know, and our guys talk about it all the time. Like, they want to be in Cullowhee. They want to be at Western because of the relationships that we building with them and how well we trying to take care of them and what we're trying to build here. And they're trying to be something special. I told them, look, early 2000s and Wake, I want you guys to look up. When you walk in there and look up there, look at the early 2000s and Wake. 2001, 2002, 2003, 2004, 2005. We in the tournament. So, you know, when we come back and everybody's like, oh, hey, how you doing, Justin? It ain't because they like that my smile. We freaking won some games. You know what I mean? And the impact that we had on them, that's what you can have here. If it's something that, you know, at Western hadn't been done in a really, really long time, that's the ultimate goal.
No doubt, Coach. It's going to be a great season, and you've been a great interview. I appreciate you very much. You sold me. Bubba, you ready to go on a road trip to Cullowhee? I don't know if he could stand me in that long for a ride in the car, but we would love to come up there and see your campus. And good luck to you this season. And don't be a stranger. Love to have you back on.
Dave, I appreciate it. Bubba, I appreciate it. And hope to see you guys tomorrow.
Which is East Carolina Hall of Famer and Utah Jazz first-round draft pick Blue Edwards. We're talking Pirate basketball on the Sports Objective, your home for the best ECU basketball coverage.